So we said we're going to focus on what we do online. So let's sort of dig deeper into it. What that we do online should be considered private. Okay, so what is private? And I think we really talking about either data that is going to be stored in digital form and in computers, or some activity that we do and record of that activity is what we're talking about. So, financial statements, we do online banking, credit card statements, all these financial records, we would say, that should be private. For two reasons. It's no one's business how I spend my money or how much of it I have. But if they gain access to these, of course, they can do identity theft. Health, medical conditions, health information obviously is highly sensitive, and we don't want that to be made public. Legal matters, their attorney-client privileges and things like that. Well, most people would view that as something that is private information. If it's online in email messages or in certain files that are stored on a computer, of course, you would view them as private information. Our biometrics, fingerprints, for example, which could be used for gaining access to certain information, you would think your fingerprints shouldn't be arbitrarily collected, shared, be made public, and things like that. So you would say this is private as well. Your political beliefs, what party you belong to. Well, you can always sort of find out from what button someone's wearing or what party they contribute to, but it's no one's business if I don't want to make it public. Remember, it's your ability to control. Okay? When you're making a contribution or when you're putting a button that supports certain candidate, you're choosing to do that. Okay, so the ability to control is what privacy is all about. So my political belief, unless I want to disclose it, there's no reason why someone should find out about it. Although we didn't talk about privacy-related laws, but in the U.S. there are laws that cover some of these. Health, for example, HIPAA. Financial, there's Sarbanes-Oxley and things like that. So, there are privacy laws. Not only this information is private, considered private, but those who violate privacy, there could be sanctions against them. Well, if we go on school record and your employment record is private, most of us would want to keep our annual evaluations, won't want them out in the public. School records, how you do your grades are actually covered again as regulation, FERPA, and things like that. More interestingly, our web browsing habits. Okay, what do we search? What websites do we visit? What kind of websites? If somebody knew, maybe they know your political beliefs, for example. So what we do online, you would think that's private. Our communication, that's not public. Emails that you send or phone calls you make and so on, you would think that is private. Post-Snowden, we've been talking a lot about metadata and stuff like that. And a lot of people are upset and surprised, and some maybe not, because we did think phone calls, we had control in the sense that we knew that the government won't collect information about those. So communication is certainly a thing that you would consider private. And if you sort of keep going down this line, what we do in cyberspace, what about stuff that's about us that can be seen by others online? Going back to whenever, what about past history? So the interesting, the right to be forgotten, this thing in the EU now that we have, and we'll explore it a bit more, says if there is information about me that's irrelevant, and I don't want Google to actually return that as a result of a search that somebody performs. So if there's information out there that was collected and made public or made available to somebody, is that forever, or do I have the right to remove it at some point?